Straight all day.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, we are on part 3 of 4, how to be more resilient. Before we get into this, let me remind you, I send out a text message every morning for free. I call it the Daily Motivation. It's guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. I stand behind that. All you got to do to get the text and let me prove it to you is to text me at my number, 305-384-6894. Every morning when I send that text out starting tomorrow morning, you shall receive. Secondly, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where you take your next step with me. If you want to be coached by me, you want to get your career on track, you want to make more money in your business, you want to get your strategies and processes in place. If you just need to get your mindset right, maybe you're already making the money that you want to make a little bit more, but you think the challenge is not necessarily the money. The challenge is you got to get your mindset right, or your right strategies, or your right systems, or somewhere in between. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can schedule a time to get on a free call with me. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what's actually going to take you where you want to go. Again, that's at workonyourgameuniversity.com. The link to that and to the number to text me to get my daily motivation text every single day for free. They are both down below in the show notes. So just scroll down from wherever you are listening to this. Y'all know where to find show notes. You all are veterans of using the internet, and click what you need to click on, and let's get moving. Now let's get into the topic. This is, again, part 3 of 3. Skills you need to be more resilient as an individual. Point number 7. We already did 1 through 6, first 2 episodes. Point number 7, emotional regulation. This is a big one. Your ability to regulate your emotions. If you want to be resilient, you must be good at managing and controlling and directing emotions when necessary. In episode number, I just had the one that I wanted to share with you. Episode 2155. I told you how emotions are great gas pedals but terrible steering wheels, meaning you do not want your emotions driving the vehicle of your car because they will slam you into a wall. Episode 2123, how to control your emotions. Episode number 1781, how to emotionally detach and still produce results. Episode number, I even talked about this when it comes to your pricing and money. If you want to make more money in your business, you have to have a logical and an emotional understanding of why to do it. That was episode 1102, how to do that. And episode 560, you are in the emotional management business. You must learn to control and direct emotions, not bottle them up and stop them from happening, because that's not possible. But you got to be able to recognize when you are feeling a certain emotion, acknowledge that emotion, and usually it goes away or calms down or allows you to control it and direct it as you see fit once you have acknowledged it. One of the biggest challenges that some of us have with emotions is that we try to act like we're not feeling a certain emotion, or we try to bottle up or ignore an emotion. The only thing that happens when you do that, and I've heard many people who speak on therapeutic type of topics or mindset topics say this, is that when you try to ignore or bottle up an emotion, all that happens is that emotion gets bigger, stronger, and louder and roars even more until you acknowledge it, until you engage with it. If you just acknowledge the emotion, then eventually it just goes away. You just have to acknowledge that it's there. There's an old bedtime childhood story of a little kid. They get put to sleep and they say, "Hey, mommy, there's a dragon under my bed. There's a little tiny dragon under the bed." And the mother or father says, "Well, just ignore it. It'll go away," because they think the kid is just having some kind of nightmare. Just ignore the dragon. It'll go away. And then the dragon gets a little bit bigger, and the kid says, "Mommy, there's a dragon under my bed." And the parent says the same thing again. Just ignore the dragon, it will go away. The dragon gets bigger and bigger. "Hey, there's a dragon under my bed." Almost to the point that it's starting to dislodge the bed. And the parent is still saying, just ignore the dragon, it will go away. Eventually, the dragon gets so big, it's as big as the mother or father. "Hey, there's a dragon under my bed, just ignore it, it will go away." Eventually, the dragon gets so big, it's filling up the entire room. And they're like, "Hey, mommy and daddy, there's a dragon under the bed." "Oh, just ignore the dragon will go away." Then the dragon gets so big, it's like the size of the whole house. It's going to fill up the house and flood out the house, just the dragon itself. It'll blow the walls and the roof off of the house. And finally, the mother or father looks at it and says, "Okay, you know what, you're right. There is actually a dragon in your room. I thought you were lying. There was a dragon under the bed. There's really a dragon there." And then as soon as the parent acknowledges that there was a dragon, the dragon disappears and goes away. This is how our emotions are. As soon as you acknowledge that it's there, it will go away. All right. It doesn't mean you have to bathe in the emotion. Doesn't mean you have to throw a big party for the emotion. You just have to acknowledge that it exists and it will go away. It will calm down and it will allow you to control it. But if you are not good at managing and controlling and regulating your emotions, what happens is your emotions will take over the steering wheel of your life's vehicle, your mental vehicle, and they are good at driving you straight into brick walls, because emotions have tunnel vision. All right, they don't see what's to the left and to the right. They are looking straight ahead and very narrow. You will not win that fight trying to control or trying to ignore an emotion or allowing it to take over your steering wheel. All right. Many people resilient people are able to control their emotions, especially in challenging or difficult situations. You have to have the ability to do this. Point number 7. Today's topic, once again, is we're on part 3 of 3, how to be a more resilient person. Number 8, goal setting. Resilient people set goals, religiously set goals. They not only have goals, but they keep their eyes on that goal, even when the circumstance looks like they will never be able to even sniff or get close to reaching that goal. Let me say this sentence again, because it's an important aspect of the concept. Resilient people not only have goals, but they're able to keep their mind on the goal, even when the situation looks like they will never be able to see that goal. There's a book called I think it's The Go-Giver. I believe this is the book by Bob Berg and John David Mann. And in that book, they use this allegorical story about a guy who is running a business, and there's some people coming in thinking about buying the business from the family that's owned and has built the business over years. And one of the things that the original owners, who's looking at selling the business, says is that as the leader of an organization, any organization, this could be a family, a sports team, or a business, your job is to keep your mind focused on crystal clear and focused on the goal, the ultimate outcome that the team is looking to achieve. Keep your mind focused there all the time, even when and especially when things look grim, even when and especially when things are not working and you're not getting the outcome you want. This is one of the main jobs that a leader has. So it's not just goal setting, but it's also tending to your goals. It's paying attention to your goals, staying focused on your goals. This is why I've always been adamant that people who do not have goals are losers. And I say that in my book, The Mental Workbook, which if you don't have it, you can get it by going to workonmygame.com/workbook. People who do not have goals are losers. Why? Because it's impossible to win if you don't have a goal. Everybody see what I did there? You can't win without a goal. Therefore, you are by default a loser. All right, you can win or you can lose. All right, there's nothing else you can do. You can't win with no goal to score on. Focusing on your goals can be a great way for you to deal with a challenging situation, as focusing on your goal refocuses your mind on the thing that you do want instead of the challenge that you may not want. I talk about this in episode number 2023, the life-changing 48-hour experiment, which is all about how long you're able to keep your mind focused on the things that you do want, i.e. your desired goals and outcomes. If you could do it for 48 hours straight, I guarantee you will experience a breakthrough just within that first 48 hours. Now, if you could do it for 48 days, you will change the world. Most people can't do it. That's why most people don't change the world. That's why, again, the goals matter. Because if you don't have goals, then there's nothing for you to focus on for 48 hours. You got to actually have something to focus on. The mind does not like voids, doesn't like empty space, doesn't like vacuum. So you got to fill it with something. Most people fill their minds, or allow their minds to be filled, is a better way of saying it, with nonsense, garbage, things that are not actually taking you where you want to be. If you want to get intentional, or if you choose to get intentional about it, you can fill your mind with all the amazing things that you want, but you have to be intentional. You got to take the wheel. You can't let anything else control it for you. So when you focus on your goals, it's a great way to deal with a challenging situation. It focuses you on what you want and not on what you don't want. This does not mean that you ignore the challenges that are in front of you. Similar to emotions, you don't ignore the challenge, because the challenge is going to become more formidable the less attention you pay to it. When you pay attention to the challenge, you can start to notice where are there opportunities for you to attack it, deal with it, adjust to it, and ultimately force it to succumb and submit to you. But you have to look at it and recognize that it's there. Don't act like it's not there and think that it's just going to disappear. So focus on where you want to be while you are in a place that maybe you don't want to be. And what happens is you will direct your subconscious mind and all of your human powers towards the things that you do want when you are consciously and actively thinking about them. Point number 9. Today's topic, once again, is we're talking how to be more resilient. This is part 3 of 4. Number 9, self-care. You want to be a more resilient person, you got to take care of yourself. I talked about self-care in episode number, let's see when I find it, 979, 10 steps for improved self-care. You want to take care of yourself better, then follow the 10 steps that are listed out in episode 979. Self-care can take many forms, but it's anything that you are doing to actually take care of yourself, whatever that can be for you. Different people have different things. For some people, that's listening to music. For others, it's taking a walk on the beach. For others, it's going to the gym, letting off some steam through lifting weights or a kickboxing class. For others, it's to sit down and read. Somebody else could be meditate, take time to think. The more the stuff you do to take care of yourself, the more you will be ready to take care of you in a challenging situation. So, if you take care of yourself, you exercise self-care by working out and going to the gym. When you get into a physically challenging situation, yourself will take care of you by you having the muscle power or the cardiovascular endurance or the energy or the whatever to get through that physically challenging situation. You take care of yourself by doing something like meditation every day. Yourself will take care of you. When you get into a stressful situation, you'll be able to go into a meditative state because you have practiced it every single day for 10 minutes or 30 minutes or 2 hours, however long you meditate. So you see how doing the work ahead of time prepares you to deal with the situation in real time? This is how it works. So that this self-care thing is not some luxury that only people who make a certain amount of money or people who have a certain mindset get. Self-care is something that every human being needs, and the better you are able to prioritize self-care, the better prepared you will be to take advantage of opportunities and to do the things that you want to do in your life and in your business. But you have to take care of yourself so that you're ready to actually do it. Self-care precludes you going out and making things happen. It's hard to make things happen if you're not doing anything to take care of the person who's supposed to go and do the stuff. Right, that's pretty hard to do. It's like if you don't sleep all night, you might wake up tomorrow and still have normal energy and feel regular, but you don't sleep 2, 3, 4 nights in a row. Eventually, things are going to start going not right. You're going to start having some things happen that ain't supposed to be happening. I've had situations where I stayed up for, most of us have had pulled an all-nighter before. You stayed up all night, didn't go to sleep. The next day, you knew you needed to get some sleep. You need to get to bed early, maybe even take a nap, something like that. And if you don't, here's what happens. And I've heard people talk about this, and I've had this happen myself. If I go over 24 hours without sleeping, then I try to go through the whole next day as if I have normal energy. It does not work. What happens is, the first thing that happens with me is I start getting these radical hallucinations. You get these crazy hallucinations you start seeing in your mind, and it's like, all right, I can't put this off any longer. I absolutely have to go to sleep. I absolutely got to do something to take care of myself. That's self-care. Sleep is self-care. How you eat, your exercise, your workouts, the people you hang with, the energies you have around you, your meditation, all of that are forms of self-care. Things that you do to take care of yourself. The more stuff you do to take care of yourself, the more you will be ready to take care. Yourself will be ready to take care of you. Again, it's like if there comes a time when you need to call on your body to perform a great feat, the only way it will be able to do so is if you've been doing the work. All right, you want to lift a heavy weight, you want to run a marathon, then you should be preparing to do those things in your training. So when you get into the training, when you get into the situation, the training has already gotten you ready to do whatever you got to do. It's gotten you ready to deal with whatever you're about to deal with. It's the same thing when it comes to your mind. It's the same thing when it comes to your spirit. You get your mind ready for whatever you're going to deal with, the mind will be prepared. You get your spirit ready, your spirit will be prepared. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is part number 3 of 3. Part 3 of 3, how to be a more resilient individual. Number 7, emotional regulation. As I've told you, you're in the emotional management business. You must be able to manage and control and direct your emotions as necessary. As soon as you recognize them, see that the emotion is the emotion, acknowledge that you're feeling that emotion, and it will eventually subside and go away as long as it is recognized. You ignore an emotion and it will get bigger, stronger, and nastier. Number 8, goal setting. Resilient people not only have goals, but they keep their eyes on that goal even when the situation looks like they will never be able to reach the goal. I've always been adamant about the fact that people without goals are losers, because you can't score without a goal, and if you can't score, you can't win. Therefore, you're losing. Focusing on your goals can be a great way to deal with a challenging situation because it refocuses your mind on what you do want, not on what you don't want. Again, listen to my episode on the 48-hour experiment, episode 2023. Number 9, self-care. It takes many forms, but anything that you do to take care of yourself is self-care. For some people, that's music. For others, it's the walk on the beach. You can go to the gym, lifting weights, kickboxing class. Some people want to sit down and read. It can be meditate, take time to think. The more of the stuff that you do to take care of yourself, the more yourself will be ready to take care of you when it is called on. It's just like if you take the time to work on your body, and there comes a time when your body needs you to perform a great feat, like running a marathon, then you're ready for it because you prepared for it ahead of time. But if you're not prepared, then you shouldn't expect yourself to be able to do things you haven't gotten yourself ready for. You know that you didn't do the homework. All that said, text me to get the daily motivation every day for free. My number is 305-384-6894. And workonyourgameuniversity.com is where we take the next step to work with me directly as a coach to get access to all the courses, to get the 2 physical mails we send out every month. That's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.